I made a video about this stuff a while back and I deleted it and I can't remember why, but I figured I pulled it out today and I figured I'd make a video on it and show you guys. Maybe it was too long of a video, I thought. I can't remember, but I'm not really interested in stamps. The reason I got into stamps in the first place is because I would buy, let's say I had $100 available, I'd spend $100 and I'd spend $95 on coins, right? $96, $97, and I have a few dollars left over. I wanted to do something with it, and so I would put it into stamps because you can find stamps on eBay for, anywhere between 10 cents to 30 cents to 50 cents to $1, and some of these stamps are really, really old. And so I started getting into stamps, and I'd buy a couple stamps at a time, and every time I bought coins, I'd buy a few stamps. I thought, well, maybe one day I'll have a really cool stamp collection and a really cool coin collection to pass on. And this is actually a pretty cool sheet of stamps here, this 1910. But again, some of these stamps are really cool. I'm just not interested in stamps. Stamps, it takes a lot of stamps to have any substantial value. And I don't like that. I don't like that you have to have, you have to have like 25 of these things full of rare stamps in order for there to be any significant value there. Not only that, but you're not really seeing a whole lot of stamp shops, open their doors. But I figured I'd go through this pretty quickly and just kind of show you guys what I have in here, because some of the stuff is pretty cool. So this is a pretty neat thing. It's this Vista Dome California Zephyr. It's an unused postcard. And it's really neat because they still operate this train. And this came out in the 1950s. And this is really neat. They still operate it. I just looked it up on YouTube. I really, really want to take a trip on this because this just looks awesome. This looks like it would be a fun experience. I got some old airmail letters. Look at this old airmail. I mean, they had such beautiful envelopes then. You don't see stuff like that any longer. This is pretty cool, this stamp here. You'll notice it has these dots. I don't know if you can see that on the camera. This is called a grill. And back in the day, this is a very old stamp, 1860s, 1850s, I think. And I can't remember for sure. And I can't really see, it might be older than that, but people were reusing stamps. And to prevent that, they put these little dots in here, these, I guess, these indentions, I guess you could say. And so that way when they postmarked it, the ink would be better absorbed into the paper and people couldn't reuse the stamp. Some of the stamps that have grills are very, very, very expensive, so be on the lookout for them. And you have the First Assistant Postmaster General Division of Dead Letters. That's pretty cool. These are cool too. These were written during the Civil War, March 2nd of 1862. They're kind of faded, but you can see the 9th Regiment of New Hampshire. And these are written to soldiers in World War II. So that's pretty awesome. I've got several of those. And some old letters. Again, more of the Civil War mail. And just some old letters that I found from the 1800s. I used to live in Atchison and know Amelia Earhart really well. I own her autograph, actually. And some really old letters, is that right? 1839? 59 maybe. I don't think it's that old. This is cool. I picked up a lot that had a bunch of old letters from this Nettie McCormick in Chicago. And I looked it up and I realized, oh my God, this is the guy that a stamp is made after. Let me find it for you really quickly. But this guy is her husband was a famous inventor, and I have a bunch of their mail. I don't know why that it was included in that lot, but right there he is. And he actually has, you can see it says Cyrus Hall McCormick. And I actually have all of their mail. They have an old mansion that's a museum now in New York. So I've got letters from them, the whole 9 yards. I think that's pretty cool. I don't think someone who sold this to me realized what they had. Again, Lieutenant, more Civil War mail. A block. This is called a block of unused airmail stamps, which is pretty neat. And the mail is from really all over the country. When they come out with a new stamp, a commemorative, they normally come out with the first day of issue envelope commemorating the stamp. That's pretty neat. And then, you know, if you thought numismatistics, or however you say it, is a weird term, they are called, stamp collectors are called philatelic. There's a word for them. I can't say that word either, but they've got their own word. Now this is cool. If you guys have the Columbian Exposition $50, this is pretty neat. This is the Columbian Exposition stamp, first day stamp and all that good stuff. So that's very, very cool. Goes along right with the $50. Old postcards. Some of these postcards are cool. I thought about creating a postcard collection because some of them are really neat. The pictures of them. There's one, I like this one a lot. Oil City, Pennsylvania. That is cool. Then we got some more blocks of stamps. Go past this stuff real quick. And then I'm just going to go through this stuff real quickly. So I really don't have. I'm just going to show you kind of the key stamps here that are pretty cool. Like I said, most of these stamps you can get very cheaply. I mean, all of these are very, very affordable. You can pick these up, all of these, for like $5. People will sell them to you in lots. Now these right here, the revenue stamps, these are actually a little bit more expensive. I have a whole revenue stamp collection in here, and which I merged into this. But all these stamps from the 40s and the 50s, people back then thought that stamps would be a good investment, like coins are, or have been so far. And so people would save whole sheets of stamps. And just like this back here, let me pull these out here. Well, I can't do that right now, but people would save whole sheets of stamps, and what would happen is they would do so because they thought they were going to gain tremendous value, and of course they didn't. And so now you can find whole sheets of stamps real cheap. But these revenue stamps here are stamps, like if you buy a pack of cigarettes or you buy some alcohol, you'll see a revenue stamp on it still to this day. And that's what these are like. This is showing that the person paid the taxes on cigarettes, and the person paid the taxes on porous plaster, proprietary wine and beverage, state of Ohio revenue stamp. So those are pretty cool. That's a pretty nice stamp. Has a little bit more value than the rest of them. And then again, here's the old revenue stamps. A lot of them have been canceled out with a feather. It's like 1912, a feather pen, you know, an old ink pen. And some of these are really cool stamps. Like that, Hussey's Special Message Express. State of Colorado betting revenue, so a betting stamp. State of New York, Department of Labor inspection stamp, Division of Betting. So there's a lot of cool history in this, just like coins. And it's cool because you have all the different colors, and We got some stamps from overseas. Not sure if that's from the United Kingdom or not. And for you coin collectors out there, it's pretty cool. Airmail stamps, very common. Very common stamp to find. And some of these stamps I remember as a kid, you don't really see too many stamps anymore. Now I tell you what, if you order stamps, you're gonna find that they send, the stamp collectors, they will send you your stamps in an envelope covered with old stamps that they use to mail the package, which is crazy. But you see some old blocks of stamps, and again, these have a little bit more value right there than some of the others. Even with the postmark, some of these have some good value to them. And just some empty pages that I have. I have a lot of duplicates. It just so happens to work out that way. You order some stamps and then you get a bunch of duplicates. A bunch of pages. I didn't realize I had this many empty pages in here. But I really want to show you guys the oldest, or some of the older stamps I have, and some of the coolest stamps I have, because I do have some stamps that I did pay a pretty penny for. Because again, and I merged several stamp collections in, so I did spend a little bit of money buying like most of the commemorative stamps. And so you'll see most of those that haven't been postmarked. These are cool. Oh, I've got stamps from Saddam Hussein when he was in power in Iraq. This one's celebrating his birthday. And I think these are cool because of all the cancel marks. You can see where they were canceled out at. I've been there, I've been here, I've been there, been on the outskirts of there, been there, been there. There's only one place on this whole list here, so I've been to most of the places here. But it's cool, you have all the different cities. I haven't been to Salt Lake or Jamestown, or very many places in Iowa, although I have been to Iowa many times. Then here's where you start getting a little bit of value. So that blue stamp there, there's a reproduction of one, but blue stamp. And this one right here. And then this one has quite a bit of value. All of these right here. These are the oldest ones that I have. That one has some value. That's a cool one. So does this one. This one I think is a $30 stamp, $40 stamp. And they're old. They are not. You can see some of these things are very, very old. Look at the pictures. Alright, so let me fast forward this. I'm going to show you guys the coolest of the cool. so this video isn't too terribly long, because there are so many stamps here to make a video that's short. It's almost impossible. I have some Confederate stamps. That's what I'm looking for right now. I also have some Kingdom of Hawaii stamps, which is pretty cool because that kind of coincides with the coins that you can get from the Kingdom of Hawaii. I have Adolf Hitler stamps from Germany when he was in power. I mean, just like coins, you can find really immense detail. See, these are all revenue stamps. A lot of revenue stamp collectors out there. But you can find a lot of history, just like in coins, contained in stamps here. This is kind of cool. You put this on your vehicle, showing that you paid your sales tax, I guess, or your vehicle tax, whatever tax at the time needed to be paid. Oh, right here's the Kingdom of Hawaii stamp that I have. And it's the first stamp that ever featured a butterfly, because she has a butterfly in her hair, which is pretty cool. And then here are the Confederate stamps. And then here are some stamps that I put here as having a little bit of value. And stamps are like coins. They have, again, they're so similar. They've got the catalogs, the Scott catalog, and various catalogs that tell you how much each stamp is worth and when it was made and why it was made. But you're really not seeing people appreciate stamps anymore because they're just not used. Those are all the stamps from my birth year, 1988. But they're just not, you know, they're not used anymore. When's the last time you went and bought some stamps? Unfortunately, it's not what it used to be. More revenue stamps. And real quick, just to end this video, I'll show you some of the full sheets that I have. So I have a 9/11 sheet of stamps. And then I've got another 1920s commemorative stamp, kind of showing you what the history was like in the 20s. I have a Lucille Ball set of stamps. And it's funny, my iPhone is seeing, like, it identifies all the faces in the picture, and it's seeing every single one of her. It's every single one of them. It's putting a little yellow box around each one of her faces there. That's funny. These are cool. This is a full sheet of stamps from 1951, or 54, sorry. And then these are from 1951. I can still use these today. Isn't that crazy? And then here's another sheet from 1955. And look, no home is safe from tuberculosis until all homes are safe. And then I've got some real old ones. I've got, what's this here? I wish there was a way to keep these in better shape, but again, people used to, in the 50s, hold back a bunch of these stamps thinking that they were going to be worth a ton of money, and they never really grew in value. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. If you want to get involved in stamp collecting, I think it's a good idea if you just want to do it for fun, because unless you are out there with the pocketbooks to spend, you know, there are some stamps that are worth a whole hell of a lot of money. There's a guy that mortgaged his home to buy for a stamp collection. I've watched a video on it. And there's some really cool stamps out there, don't get me wrong. But if you want to be able to put 20 bucks into something and know that it's going to really for sure gain value, probably not going to be stamps. Now, stamps, I think they probably hold their value, but you're going to, for 20 bucks, you're going to have a whole hell of a lot more stamps that are going to, $20 will buy you, let's just say, 20 stamps. And if you're better off if you're having that type of mindset sticking with coins. That's a simpler way to put it. Because with stamps, you might, for 20 bucks, you might get 20 very common stamps, and you have to, when it comes time to sell them, you're going to have to hustle 20 times to sell each one of them. There's not very many buyers of stamps locally, like stamp dealers. It's just, I don't know. I think it's a hobby I think most people should get involved with for the enjoyment of it and for the artwork of it, and not because they view it as an investment. Because I think unless you have the capability of buying that $1 million stamp or that $50,000 stamp or that $20,000 stamp, most of the stamps you come across are going to be pretty common. There's no silver value in them. There's no gold value in them. There's nothing that makes them increase, based on speculation. And so again, you're probably better off staying away from stamps if you really don't enjoy them. But it is pretty cool to have. It's a cool thing. Like I said, one day I'm going to die and this is going to belong to somebody who I hope appreciates it. And I hope says, wow, this is cool. I got a really cool coin collection, a really cool stamp collection. And maybe they add on to it and add on to it and add on to it. Well, one day they have a collection that's worth a whole hell of a lot of money. But anyway, I will talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching.